Okay, check, check. Yes, I'm here at Cannabeast, the place I saw online that I've been wanting to come to. I walked, it was hot, humid a little bit in the afternoon, but very pleasant and cool here with green plants, little art, neatly divided marijuana in various categories. I just rolled a sativa joint, and I'm sitting down with Alex. So, Alex, you came here how long ago?
I arrived here 6 months ago.
You're coming from where?
From Amsterdam. I was living in Amsterdam before I moved here.
How long did you stay in Amsterdam?
Almost a year. Let's say almost a year.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. It was one of the best times in my life. I worked in a coffee shop, and every morning I was riding my bicycle with a joint. And it was just perfect every single day.
Do you speak Dutch?
No, unfortunately no. Just English and Thai, lite svenska, and poquito español. More like.
When you were there, did you find that they say to you, "Don't worry, I'll just speak English," because they don't even want you to try. When I was there.
Sometimes, I mean, the people who want to practice, that's what they say to me. But for me, it's just being there was already like overwhelming. So it's like, no, I don't need to learn Dutch. I'm just here like with the weed, and English is just more fun.
You're smart. I tried for a couple of weeks, and then I just said, "This is moronic. This is never going to happen." Well, yeah. So then, what brought you? Were you from Thailand originally, or did you?
My mother's from Thailand, and my father's from Finland. I was born here, but I grew up in Stockholm in Sweden for a while. And we moved as a family back to Bangkok when I was like 10, 11. I did my studies here. I did journalism as a degree, and I left for 10 years. And now I'm back in Thailand.
So this is just now me seeing you after the 10-year ending, and you're coming back.
Pretty much.
Wow, so I'm really pleased to be recording today, Alex. This is a really good day for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We have to go smoke.
Oh, inside the room?
In the lounge.
Oh, okay. Well, let's put it out. Do you mind? We'll do this later. No?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather keep chatting than that.
Sure.
I'll just put the J out.
Yeah. Because we do the smoke in the lounge.
Well, let's begin there. So every place is different, you know. Is this the impression people gave, especially the New York Times, was, oh, it's just a free-for-all. They just sell the booze right next to it. Anybody can do whatever they want. And just moments ago you said to me, no, you can't have that joint here. You have to go inside the back, right? So if you would just share first, please, has that changed a lot since it began?
Yeah. I mean, for the past year, let's say we hit the 1 year mark a few months ago, I think in July. So it was pretty much like you said, it's a free-for-all. It was a green rush. The Thais didn't know what to do exactly. We didn't have a model to follow. You know, it was just like, okay, we're gonna sell it, and that's it.
Time out. You had a model. You had plenty of models, but you decided not to because you're Thai. I think that's beautiful, though. I'm trying to describe this as beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, they have their own culture as well. I feel like with cannabis and the laws everywhere, it goes along the culture they have. Because like Amsterdam, they have their own model as well. In the States, they have their own model. In Thailand, they see it as a herb. Thais see it, I mean, like the local traditional Thais. We're not saying like, you know, they're still taboo using weed. But like culturally, it's been around. It's a herb. People use it in foods. They use it in medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like having a whole place to sell this so-called drug right now, because we see it as a drug, it's a bit tricky, you know? And the regulations are slowly coming out because people are saying, hey, it's a little bit too much, guys. You're selling it on the streets. The little kids can access it. Everybody can see it. It's a little bit too much in your face. So that's why we're getting a little bit like, you know, like negative feedback.
How long do you think that? So we're now. We can say we're talking today. It's November
16th.
16th.
Yeah.
So we can say a July of 22 is when it passed.
Yes.
And like October 1st was kind of when the first places were opening, right? Is that fair to say? Can you describe something?
Everything pretty much opened on the first day. Like people were selling on the first day. I wasn't here, but like my friends were here, and I was on the phones. The phones were ringing. And it was like, okay, it's actually happening. They didn't have the regulations. You didn't have any limits on how much you can sell, how much you can buy, how much you can.
They just said go.
That's it. Green light, go. So then everybody was like, okay, it's happening. Okay, if it's happening, let's do it. So then, of course, the green rush happened. People who jumped in, they jumped in. Lots of people were successful and lots of people failed as well. Lots of farms were built. Then they didn't know where to send the flowers to. Thai farmers, you know, they said, okay, you know, grow weed. The government said, grow some weed. But then,
are we talking about clones from elsewhere or only
local
like
grown?
Like
grown, grown here as well.
Did they have Thai names for these things? Did they just consider it all one thing?
No, they have genetics. They have like seeds. They know we have to register the seeds as well, like where get the seeds from? Like, where was it from? If you're buying it from, like, let's say, greenhouse seed company, you have to say, okay, we need your papers because we're going to be growing this at our farm.
So that infrastructure has existed for some time for other things, other herbs, basically, and they just copied it for marijuana. Is that
I'm not sure if they had it for others.
Sorry, maybe I'm asking too specific. For me, it's really exciting because you can imagine 30 years ago I came here, and if you had the smallest amount of anything and you were a foreigner, you were terrified you were going to jail.
Yeah, I heard people like cracking open like aircons and just trying to hide them deep inside
terrified.
like the monitors.
We were travelers who were just young and running like idiots through Asia, you know, but we were terrified of such a thing. And now to be able to roll a joint sitting in a lounge happily is such a change, a radical change. You know?
That's true.
Okay, so the rush kind of happens.
Yeah.
And, sorry, you're going to say?
Yeah, with the smoking space as well. We don't have laws that say that you can actually smoke inside. And then it's kind of like that's why we have these secret doors. If you see around shops around Bangkok, there will be secret doors. You can't really sit and smoke like right there. Like people can't see you sitting.
Well, right, yeah. But I don't do that anywhere. Even in Amsterdam, as you said, you rode your bike. I loved walking, but I was a discreet smoker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you won't smell it on the streets.
That's right. And we, as I think, one of the things I'm trying to tell people is that marijuana tourism is way better than all other kinds of tourism because we're not out here trying to get drunk and wander in the street making noise. Yeah. We're usually very discreet.
Yes.
And the idea is that the marijuana tourism has tons of money.
That's true.
Just like the booze tourism. But it doesn't come with all the problems of the booze tourism.
Is
that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, because they're very discreet. It's a very discreet community. That's very good. The thing with Thailand is they're kind of combining booze and weed. Just because I feel like that's the nature of Thailand in general. It's like a holiday destination.
Yes, this is a problem.
You know, that's a big problem.
Yeah, because nowhere in the world. In Amsterdam, you don't do that. The bars are the bars. The in California, nowhere. Canada, everywhere else, everywhere except here.
You don't combine.
The decriminalization allows for you to be able to just buy a fifth of whiskey and 6 joints or whatever, right? Now, do you think that's worrisome, would you say?
Absolutely, but I mean, Thailand has, bad, they have a bad history of like alcohol consumption anyways, like road killings, like road kills, people dying on the streets every single day on motorbikes, drunk drivers getting hit, it's accidents every day from alcohol. It's out of control from the start. Let's say,
and we people are the opposite of that. We're the slower moving, very chill, usually more alert. We're not trying to cause problems, only to get too stoned. And anybody who has ever been around someone who's too stoned, we just mind them until they're not stoned anymore. You know what I mean? We don't send them out on the road too stoned. You know what I mean?
But I've seen and heard horror stories already of people combining drugs, including weed and alcohol, ketamine, cocaine. Horror stories, people dying as well. And of course, cannabis was a part of the death, but it wasn't the reason, and it's still, so it's scary. It's scary that it's still happening. But, as a budtender myself, I feel like we're just trying to spread more awareness of the responsibility as a budtender.
But so you saw the rush, and that means people were just coming and buying what, quantities of weed, like pounds of weed, or like, was it sort of, here you have an extremely refined situation. I'm sitting in a place with a beautiful arrangement. Everything's divided neatly. I can buy in small quantities or slightly larger quantities. Was it immediately like that, or was it kind of like...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, first it was just people selling everywhere. You would see street food, but then you would see street weed. So then there would be joints, there would be brick weed, there would be jars on the streets of Sukhumvit, Khao San, everywhere. There would be shops popping up everywhere. But then 1 year later, I think maybe 30%, they disappeared, they closed down.
So saturated market, you would say, was last year. You're saying that was more like last year. It's just more that I happen to be in a very touristy area.
Yeah, if you're in a touristy area, of course, you will feel like, it's in your face, like the neon signs there and everything. But in general, no, it's pretty much cooled down now. We're looking forward more, like the farmers and the growers are looking forward to the next regulations that's going to come out. Business owners, they're not crazy about the rush anymore. They're just looking for the high season and low season. This thing is on already. It's doing good. Like this shop is doing well. If it's high season, we'll be ready. We have stocks of weed. If it's low season, we just have less stock, But the regulations will change. It could happen. To be honest, it could happen.
Tell me why you feel that.
That's what I said to everyone as well. Like, enjoy it right now, because Thailand, to be honest, when they legalize it, nobody saw it happening. So nobody saw it coming. It happened in one night. The same thing that happened to kratom and cannabis back then 40 years ago, 30, 40 years ago. One day. It took them one day. That's it, guys. It's illegal. Put them away. We're clearing everything out. It can happen because it happened before. It's not a gradual thing.
It's functionally decriminalized, and they
Yeah.
just decide it's criminal, and then
Again, they can put it back. But yeah, I mean, it can happen. So what you can do right now is, tie up together. Make connections. Get.
Why don't you tell me where people can find your stuff? How can they read the stuff that you're writing?
You can find me on Instagram. It's alex.humblehaze or just humblehaze.com. And just find me between those names, Alex Haze and now Humble Haze.
I really appreciate you taking the time.